What happens when we add our photosynthetic bacteria, our PSB, to our lotus pots and ponds? Well, one thing that's not happening technically is we're not feeding them, but what the PSB is doing is help make all those nutrients that are in the water and in the mud more readily available to the plants that are growing in it, and it also helps to keep the water cleaner. So adding just the right amount of PSB is a really good thing to do for both the lotus and for the water, for the growing environment. Because in a pot or in a pond, yeah, the water can get a bit stinky and anaerobic sometimes, and yeah, the sludge and the slime and the green algae can grow more than you want it to. Photosynthetic bacteria is helping to reduce the amount of that green algae and that unwanted slime and stink that you can sometimes associate with a pond or a pot growing lotus. In your lotus pond or in your lotus pot, photosynthetic bacteria do actually occur naturally, just in reasonably small amounts. So by adding a little bit more, you're not introducing anything alien to the environment. In fact, you're just assisting and boosting what's already there to do a better job for you. And if you've got fish or guppies, tadpoles in your pond or in your pot, don't worry about it. They are going to enjoy it too, because the PSB does not have a negative impact on any of the aquatic life that's in the water. So what the PSB is doing is actually absorbing the hydrogen sulfide, the methane and the ammonia that's in the pond water and the pot water, and this is helping to reduce the stink and the slime and the green algae. And this happens naturally so long as there's enough sunlight. This is one reason that it's really best to grow your lotus and your water lilies in full sunshine, because more sunlight aids the photosynthetic bacteria to do a better job of making those nutrients available to the plants and keeping the water cleaner and stopping it from going green and anaerobic. And as I said at the start, PSB is not a fertilizer. You're not replacing any fertilizer. What you're doing is enhancing it and making whatever organic nutrients are available in the pond, in the water, or in your pot water, or in the mud, more available to the lotus or water lily roots to uptake that goodness and turn it into growth and leaf and flower for you. But you do have to be careful, as with anything that you're feeding, anything that you're putting into your plants, you've got to be careful not to overdo it and not to underdo it. So we usually add 1 to 2 ml per litre of water. So in a 200 litre container, we're putting between 200 and 400 millilitres of photosynthetic bacteria. But for us, we're really not too scientific about it. We do it by feel. We look at the water, we look at the plants, we look at how they're growing, and give it a reasonably measured slosh of PSB. So we're not getting out our measuring jug and getting it just right, because as with everything in our gardens, there's variables. It depends on the temperature, it depends on how much sunshine, it depends on how vigorous the plant growth is, and also how much water there is. So you've got to keep an eye on it, you've got to experiment, and to me this is a much more enjoyable way of gardening than having a list that I've got to check everything off and make sure everything's measured and just right. It's not in my nature to enjoy gardening like that. So yeah, we kind of do it a little bit more freestyle, if you like. And yeah, the results speak for themselves. The results are good. And it's really important, I think, to have that connection with our garden and with our plants, so that by looking at them, by feeling what's going on, then we can respond better, rather than just taking advice from somewhere else, taking information from somewhere else and trying to apply it directly to what we're doing. It's much, much better to have, if you like, an organic feel for what we're doing and how we're feeding our plants and how we're looking after the water that our lotus and water lilies are growing in. And certainly here at Suan Sook Homestay, we really enjoy sharing this information and talking to our guests, the people that come and stay with us at the homestay, if they're interested to learn more about lotus and water lily and the rest of our garden here. what permaculture is, why we do things organically. We love to share this information and encourage people that growing organically and following permaculture principles is the best way to look after a natural living environment so that it really thrives. And by adding photosynthetic bacteria to the other goodness that we're putting into our lotus pots and ponds, this is creating the best kind of environment to stimulate leaf and flower growth. So we're not only using our PSB, we're also adding compost and other goodness into the mix. So if you want to learn about what we're doing there, you can check out this video next. And thanks very much for watching this one all the way through.